And good morning, everybody. Fresh bank holiday Monday morning for you. What time is it now? 10 to 9. Okay. I'm going to put the link for what this is in the comment section. This is justice.ie, and this is the hate speech public consultation. And I think you really, really need to pay attention to this. What this is, I have a description here. Hate speech legislation introduction will make it possible for perceived emotional based injuries against those that claim or appear to be members of protected groups. Now I have that in quotes, finger quotes, to single out individuals only for targeted legal punitive action. Now I say that because no groups will be offered protection against other groups. This is only being designed to go after the individual. And in fact, it's only designed for groups to go after individuals. In other words, this is going to be collective bullying sanctioned by the state. Members of these groups, which will oftentimes be due to them identifying themselves as members thereof, are being offered the ultimate political weapon. And that's really where this is going to, where the rubber is going to meet the road on this, folks. This would be like a political social nuke. That's what this is. This is going to rip, if we allow it to go ahead, this is going to rip Ireland's political landscape apart. There are going to be vicious, nasty battles. Everybody's going to be claiming victimhood and victim status, and use that in an attempt to convert it into sympathy votes. And, well, it's like what they did for the children's referendum. Oh, you're not, they made it all look warm and fuzzy and fluffy, like they're going to do with this, like they always do. And, the idea, well, oh, you're not for hate speech, are you? In other words, either you're with us or against us. And the idea here is that, you see, I am for hate, believe it or not. I am for love and I am for hate. And the reason is you can't have love without hate. People often say the opposite to love is not hate, it's indifference. Yeah, I'll go with that too. But I'll continue on. Will the individual have a defense? This is important. Will the individual be able to defend themselves from the onslaught of these groups if they're empowered in this manner? I say no. These people will scan all your emails, your Facebook posts, your Twitter posts, your YouTube comments. They'll probably dig up my face comments. What do they call it? Yeah. MySpace. MySpace comments from 10 years ago. And they will use that if it suits their agenda. That's the important thing here. These people who will utilize this will have an agenda. Now, I know you might be thinking, oh, but what about the individual people who are abused and called nasty names, etc., on a bus traveling in Dublin, or, on a train traveling through Galway, or whatever? What about the foreign nationals who will be abused and racially abused? And what about the trans people and the gay people, the LGBT community? Quite frankly, folks, many people seem to think everybody needs to be wrapped in cotton wool. The people who put this out do. Well, they don't. I mean, I've been racially abused in foreign countries. I just get over it. All right. I've been bullied. I deal with bullies. I've been attacked physically in all sorts of ways, like many of us have. We dust ourselves off and we get on with it. If somebody attacks you in a manner physically, you can deal with it through the Gardaí or through the courts or whatever. If somebody attacks your good name, like they did with me, you can deal with them through the courts. There's defamation action, there's the Non-Fatal Offences Against the Person Act. They're all there. This is something different. This proposed legislation will be abused by the intolerant, narcissistic, sociopathic types, and they will use this to seek out and destroy political opponents or perceived personal opponents. Let's not forget there are narcissistic people out there who will absolutely delight, and I mean they will delight in this legislation, because they can use this now to target and bring punishment from the state onto their selected targets for this class of treatment. You have to remember, folks, people lie. People make false claims. Oh, he said, she said. How much of this is going to be provable? Oh, he said this. Did anybody hear him? No, but 3 people from my group wrote it down and said so, and they've all backed each other up. Oh, well, then he must have done it, right? She must have said it. Nonsense, folks. This is punishment being inflicted upon the individual by a state on behalf of members of non-fixed transient groups. This is bonkers. They already have, as I say, all the different acts there ready to deal with this. This constitution, this legislation is, or proposed legislation, I should say, is unconstitutional in essence, as the purpose of the Constitution was to protect, defend, and uphold the rights of the individual. That's what it's for. When you protect the rights of the individual, well, automatically everybody else is protected. I mean, that would seem to me to be fairly obvious. Now, I had put up a poll there. Do you want to see hate speech legislation passed in Ireland? I don't know where the hell that poll went to. And let me see if I can figure out how to show it here on the video. I don't know. Okay, let me just go through this. So this is the SurveyMonkey one that's put up by the Department of Justice. Now, I want you to look at the questions they were asking. The Minister for Justice and Equality is reviewing Ireland's law on criminal hate speech. Well, you're not reviewing it. There isn't one. Anyway, the existing law, Prohibition of Incitement to Hatred Act, is being revised and updated to ensure it meets the needs of a modern democratic society. Actually, that should probably just be deleted. It's crap. Thank you for participating in this consultation. Your views are important. Please reflect on your own experiences of hate speech, right? Now, see that right there? That's calling for a particular type of individual to fill this out, folks. Do you see that? What have you encountered personally, or what have you seen, read, or heard that you consider is hate speech? Now, we've just seen an example of somebody who claims to have been attacked with hate speech. I've put the link to the blog, our website blog, down below here on my page. And if you have a look at that, you will find that there is not actually one example of hate speech. There is lots of vile, disgusting comments about the individual from plenty of other individuals. Some will feel they're well and truly justified, others won't. But there's not one example of actual supposed hate speech according to the definition of what hate speech is. Anyhow, I digress. In light of these experiences, we are asking you to share your views with us on the kinds of protection that the law on hate speech should offer, and the groups, see, always the groups that need protection. See, the groups that need protection. Folks, you cannot protect groups of people in this manner because, you know, if you're, let's say you perceive yourself to be a member of a group, somebody insults an individual who also claims to be a member of your group, the group you identify with. Well, they didn't say it to you. Why should you feel slighted? And if they did say it to you and you do feel slighted, do you really want the other person jailed, fined, or penalized? Don't you want them to be free to insult you? Aren't you free to insult others and to say hateful things? I think you are. In fact, you are. Right? Okay, we'll continue. By filling in the questions below, you will help shape Ireland's law on incitement to hate. This is calling for narcissistic lunatics, folks, to fill this out. That's what they're looking for here. What they're not looking for is well-adjusted individuals to come on here and to fill this out, which is why I think we should do this. If you're a well-adjusted individual, okay, I'm gonna fill this in while you're observing, just because. In your opinion, what groups or communities of people in Ireland are targeted by hate speech? Well, what's the answer, folks? In your opinion, what groups or communities? Well, there's only one group or one community that are targeted by hate speech, and that is the individual only. Please describe the kinds of hate speech that you think are or are not serious enough to be a criminal offence. Now, this is the kind of like, how often do you beat your wife question. See that? Describe the kinds of hate speech that you think are serious enough to be a criminal offence, or you think are not serious enough to be a criminal offence. Describe them. Right, there's my answer. Protect free speech of the individual as is your function. Is it necessary or right to place limits on freedom of expression by making some forms of hate speech a crime? If so, what protections do you think the law on incitement to hatred should offer? Is it necessary? That's the question. Is it necessary or right to place limits on freedom of expression? No. Do you think those who are actively involved in publishing, spreading, or distributing hate speech should be subject to criminal prosecution? Nope. Is there anything else important we should take into account as part of this review? Yes. No, I'll just leave it at that. Submit. There you go. Now, I have the link in the thing there, folks. You can go ahead and do it yourself. Let me know what you think. That's really it for today. Talk to y'all later. God bless.